Good morning, students. Welcome back to our online English session. I have a surprise for you today. Do you miss this classroom? Yes, this is our English class. Do you remember this class? You may be thinking why I am showing this class to you today. I just wanted you people to remember those hours in which we teachers reminded you that the sky is only your limit. And also there is one more reason. Today we are going to study our lesson, a poem about a classroom. The poem's name is An Elementary School Classroom in Islam, written by Stephen Spender. And do you know who Stephen Spender was? Stephen Spender was a poet and an English essayist. Spender had keen interest in politics, and so he declared himself as socialist and pacifist. His work concentrated on themes of social injustice and the class struggle. This poem, The Elementary School Classroom in Islam, by Stephen Spender, gives a vivid description of a school classroom in Islam and the children in the class. The classroom was dim, the paint on the walls was faded, children were sickly and undernourished. A child's growth was stunted, his bonds were twisted. A boy looked dreamy, he was thinking of a squirrel's camp. A girl sat with her head weighed down in despair. This is the picture he gives us about the classroom, the children in the classroom. On the walls there was a portrait of Shakespeare and a map of the world. The map showed beautiful cities under cloudless sky at dawn. There were ships and love symbols of modern progress and liberal attitude. But by contrast, the lives of the children were dark and dismal. Their future was written in fog. The poet thinks that the map and Shakespeare had no significance for children who lived in grave-like houses. He pleads that these windows should be broken and children should be moved to the bright daylight. They should experience the sun, sky and sea. They should be educated. They should have equal opportunities like others. So this is the summary of the poem. Now we are moving on to the line by line explanation of the poem. So be ready with your note and pen. And the line goes like this. First stanza of the poem. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. The tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bonds, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game, in tree room other than this. The children are sitting in the classroom of a slum school. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. Gusty means strongly blowing. So these children's faces, they are so dull, far, far away from these waves and winds. Like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. Pallor means face. Weeds, unwanted plants. So their hair is just like rootless weeds all scattered around their face. Like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. The tall girl with her way down head, and you can see a girl, a tall girl is sitting there and she is depressed. She keeps her head down, way down head. The paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes. Then you can see another boy who is sitting in a corner, and his paper-seeming means he is very thin and his eyes are bulging out like those of the rat. With rat's eyes. The stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bonds, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. And his growth is stunted, the body remains undeveloped. The stunted, unlucky hair of twisted bond, and his bonds are twisted, reciting a father's gnarled disease. He inherits twisted bonds of his parents. Actually, he is not reciting a lesson from his desk. He is enumerating the naughty disease of his father. Then again we can see another boy. His eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room other than this. Then there is another, a sweet boy sits at the back of the dark room. He is unnoticed. He is dreaming. His eyes are dreaming, and he dreams of outdoor games outside his dull classroom. He dreams of squirrels playing games in the hollow of the tree. So this is our first stanza once again. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair round their pallor. The tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes. The stunted, unlucky hire of twisted bonds, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. At back of the class, one unknotted, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room other than this. So in this stanza, the poet is talking about the children in that slum school. Their faces are very pale, their hair are torn around like rootless weeds, and they are stunted figures with twisted bonds. They inherit diseases of their parent. They belong to dirty world of cramped holes. And there is a boy with dreaming eyes who is dreaming of the squirrel games outside that dim classroom. This is the first stanza of the poem. And in this stanza, you will find a poetic device simile in the second line. Like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their palace. Here, the poet has compared the hair to rootless weeds. So, he has used the word like also. Then you know the poetic device is simile. Comparing two things using as or like, it is simile. So the poetic device in that particular line, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, is simile. Now one more poetic device is there in the same stanza. The paper seeming boy. Again the boy, the thin body of the boy is compared to a paper. The paper seeming boy. Again comparison is done, but without using the word like or as. So the poetic device is metaphor. These are the two poetic devices used in this stanza. Now try to find out the rhyme scheme of this stanza. And you have to take down the notes given over here. See the URL and write the test. We can meet in our next session. Thank you and have a great day.